I want to talk about how to gauge progression in the gym. And before going into this volume side of the equation, I just want to mention that you can progress in many ways. So becoming technically skilled or better, it's a progression. And we can also look into tempo and manipulating time under tension, but that will be for another talk because it would just be a way too long video. And then another one would be to look at the rest periods that you have. And for today, we are going to be focusing on volume, and what that really means and how we calculate it, it's that we look at the amount of sets times the amount of reps times the load that you're lifting. And that's going to give you the total tonnage or the total kilos that you lifted for one particular exercise. So in this example, I've given Karen an incline dumbbell press 3 times 8 to 10 reps. And she does this 2 sessions, and we're looking at what happens when we're moving to a heavier weight versus maybe staying at a lower weight. And for this example, she's lifting an incline dumbbell press, and we're looking at session number 1, and she's lifting 12.5 kilos. And for those 3 sets, she's getting 8, 8, and 6 reps, which totals out to 22 reps. And if we're looking at then the total load for that particular day, that was 275 kilos for the incline dumbbell press. The second day, when she comes back doing the same movement, she decides to take a lower weight, and she goes for the 10. And she manages to do 10 reps, then 9, and then 10 reps again. And as you can see, she's managed to do 29 reps, so 7 reps more than with the 12.5s. And it turns out that she's lifting more in terms of volume. So she's doing 290 kilos total. And when we're looking at progressing in the gym, volume is one of the very key things that we are aiming for always, because that's how we know that you are lifting more weight than you did the last time. And in order to gain strength and to build more muscle, it's always about progressive overload. And it comes down to this equation right here: sets times reps times load. Now, in this case, it might have been better for Karen to stay at 10 kilos and making sure that she's nailing 3 sets of 10, maybe even pushing it to the last set, going all out so she really can't do anymore. And if she can get more than 10 on that last set, I would encourage her to increase that load the next time, because ultimately we're trying to have this progressive overload happening at every session. And if she's decreasing the load by increasing the actual weight, then yes, it's going to be heavier, but the actual progressive overload in terms of volume is not going to happen. That doesn't mean that it's not always going to work out this way. Sometimes you're going to have to find a weight. This might have been the only step. It might not have been an 11 available. Then at some point she's going to have to jump to a heavier weight, and she might have to take a step back with that volume. But that gives her the new baseline to try to really work on. And if that was the reps, then we wanted to see that the next session she hit at least a 7 on that last set, or maybe start off by hitting a 9. So progression happens individually by increasing sets or increasing reps or increasing load. But we're going to be looking at the overall volume as in terms of how you're progressing, because that's what's going to matter when you're looking at increasing your muscle mass and strength. And yeah, that is progressive overload, and I hope that this made sense.